Yeah.
So, we have a good service here.
I saw him on Church Street just shoving couches into the back of the truck and munching them in half and shoving the rest of.
We could do a pre-post test. We could do something environmental science confirm.
All right, I would like to call the Oxford City Council regular meeting to order. Ms. Barber, you may call the roll.
Mr. Snavely,
Here,
Mr. Vinch,
Here.
Mr. Bracken,
Here.
Ms. Franklin,
Here.
Ms. French,
Here.
Ms. Ornelas, Mayor Smith.
Here. All right, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would care to join us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Franklin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We will begin tonight with public participation, and I have a proclamation for Building Safety Month. Whereas Oxford is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the essential role that our homes, buildings, and infrastructure serve, both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of the buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these professionals are dedicated members of the International Code Council, or the ICC for short, a nonprofit that brings together officials who are experts in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes and standards to protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, and play. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the ICC to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors of public safety, our code officials, who assure us of safe, sustainable, affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And whereas each year, in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment in their community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by building safety and fire prevention departments. Now therefore, I, Michael Smith, Mayor of the City of Oxford, Ohio, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Building Safety Month, and call upon the people of Oxford to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in this special observance. I was reading that part about disasters. Yeah, sure, come on up.
Our two building officials with National Inspection Corporation, Luke Hurst and Andrew Dickerson, were not able to be here tonight. We've got about a dozen contracted building inspectors that work for National Inspection Corporation. And of course, we also have the fire department as well that my office works with. So I just wanted to thank you for the proclamation. It was suggested by our building official with National Inspection, Andrew Dickerson. So appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. We will now move on to appointments to boards and commissions.
I would like to move to appoint Harlan Schottenstein to the Public Arts Commission, Gerald Yearwood to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and Jason Bracken to the Housing Advisory Commission.
Do I have a second?
second.
Second by Councilor Snavely. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that carries. We will now move on to public comments. Anyone wishing to address council about items not on the agenda or on the consent agenda, please come forward at this time and state your name and address for the record. All right. Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Snavely. Any items to be removed tonight? All right, seeing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the consent agenda is adopted. We will move on to resolutions. Ms. Barber, you may read the first resolution whenever you're ready.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with M-Tech Company for the purchase of an automated valve exercising machine utilizing water capital equipment funds and $17,800 of the city's American Rescue Plan Act funds towards this purchase.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Ornelas, and we'll go to Mr. Dreisbach.
Good evening again, council. This is a replacement machine. It's in the budget for this year. And I'd like to thank Jessica for identifying the $17,800 from the ARPA funds that we can use for this project and lessen the burden on the water equipment fund. This is a machine we use routinely. It will vacuum out valve boxes and let us get to valves, and also has a computer-controlled turning device, so we can exercise valves as we should. Some of our 100-year-old valves in the uptown are very fragile, so we use this device to turn and manipulate them, hopefully without breaking them. So we ask for your approval to get this needed machine.
All right. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution before council? All right. Seeing none, council questions, discussion?
Very minor. I think it's American Rescue Plan Act. That's just a typo for the N. But I could be wrong. Is it America Rescue Plan or American Rescue Plan? Last line of the resolution title.
I would have to look that up on,
Okay, let's just
Not
make sure we
positive.
get it right eventually.
yes, thank you.
Yep.
All right. And no other questions? Ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Bring it on. Okay. We will move on to the next resolution. Ms. Barber, you may read it whenever you're ready.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Jackson Construction Incorporated for the city's 2026 curb, gutter, and sidewalk special assessment construction project.
Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Vice Mayor French. I'm going to say second by Councilor Franklin. And we'll come back to Mr. Dreisbach.
In January, the city council approved resolution 7780, authorizing a special assessment project for curb, gutter, and sidewalk. We've notified all of the property owners of their obligation. A vast majority have pulled permits and are doing the work already, so we're very pleased with that. A few have not, so we need to hire a contractor to do that work for them. So this is the second step of 4, just like in prior years. 4 pieces of legislation needed. This will authorize a contract with Jackson Construction. We've used them in the past. They've done good work for us, so we recommend approval. Following the work, if it is approved, we'll come back to you with a resolution of actual costs, and then we'll follow that up with a assessment ordinance later in the year. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right. Let me see if there's anyone from the public that would like to address this resolution before council. All right. Seeing none. Council questions, discussion?
So just a related question. Walking through my neighborhood, I noticed that like there's some X's being placed on some sidewalk sections, which I assume means that they're scheduled to be replaced. And just to answer some questions from neighbors, what criteria does the city use to determine whether or not a particular square needs to be replaced?
They're defined in our subdivision regulations, but generally, if there's a trip hazard or a crack that is so severe that it can cause a heave or a tripping hazard, that's what would
Okay.
trigger.
So are you actually like measuring the amount of
Yes,
offset?
there's a standard. I don't recall it
Okay.
off the top of my head, but it's approximately a quarter to a half inch.
Okay.
Yeah, I think ADA standards are a half inch. So, yeah. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that resolution is adopted. We will move on to the next one. You may read it whenever you're ready.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Duke Energy to provide transformers for the city's electric vehicle charging project.
Move adoption.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Snavely, second by Vice Mayor French, and we'll come back to Mr. Dreisbach.
So again, we're installing 6 fast chargers in the uptown area, 4 at the surface lot at Church and Main, and 2 at the municipal building parking lot. Council's approved a contract for this. It's 100% funded by ODOT, no local dollars for the project. However, we do have to work with Duke Energy and provide the transformers from the primary power. So we've already had a supplemental budget approved for this. This gives us the authority to expense that money for transformers for the project.
All right.
To answer questions.
Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution before council? All right, seeing none, any council questions or discussion?
Let's do it.
Just a small nitpicky typo in section 2 of the resolution. It's Duke Energy is not spelled correctly.
It's, yeah, we better fix that.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that resolution is adopted. We'll move on to the next one. You may read it whenever you're ready, Ms. Barber.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to amend an existing agreement with AECom Technical Service Incorporated, as described in Exhibit A, for the development of construction plans and specifications for an Amtrak rail station platform.
Move adoption.
Second.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Snavely, second by Vice Mayor French. Mr. Dreisbach.
This project is nearing completion from a design aspect. Stage 2 plans were completed. Stage 3 plans, which would be 90% completion or almost done. We have agreements with CSX and Amtrak, and we have a proposed agreement with Talawanda, and we will need one more with another property owner. But in reviewing our 90% plans, savings have been identified with retaining wall structures, some of the lighting and fencing, and we can save about $250,000 on the construction costs of the project. Along with that, we need to have our engineer incorporate those design changes into the design and specifications for the project. So we're spending approximately $70,000 to save $250,000 to get the design finished so we can get it out to bid.
All right.
Be glad to answer questions.
See if there's anyone from the public that would like to address this resolution before council. All right, seeing none, council questions and discussion?
I'm just glad to see it moving forward. I wish that Nelson Morrow Building wasn't there, but it is, and so I think we've adapted well.
I agree. All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, that resolution is adopted. All right, Ms. Barber, you may read the next resolution whenever you're ready.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the grant of $300,000 in the City of Oxford American Rescue Plan Act funds to Talawanda, Oxford Pantry and Social Services for the design, engineering, construction, and interior build-out of a new facility and for the planning, refurbishment, and repurposing of existing facilities to support the TOPS mission.
So moved.
Second.
Ooh, sorry.
That's all right.
Just jumping ahead, really here.
Motion to adopt by Vice Mayor French, second by Mr. Snavely, and I will go to Ms. Green.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors. In April, I had a meeting with Talawanda, Oxford Pantry and Social Services to check in on the status of their project. And if you remember, they have two sources of funding for this project. One is from the county, $1.5 million that can be used for construction only. City Council then awarded them $300,000 to help with the design and engineering and any construction overruns that may have occurred. as they're getting really close to the end of the construction, they feel like they're gonna be in line with the 1.5 million for construction, but they could use the assistance of our local funds for the build-out. You know, that could be anything from computer monitors to a new refrigerator or storage shelves for the food and pantry, but could also be used for the design and engineering of the use of the current TOPS facilities for future use within line their mission. And I would recommend just opening up that grant agreement to allow these other uses. Happy to answer any questions.
See if there's anyone from the public that would like to address this resolution. Seeing none, council discussion.
Could it be used for a solar array on the roof?
I don't know if the roof was structured as such, and honestly, I don't know. And I don't think they could do it fast enough either.
Okay.
How was the original grant restricted?
For construction, design, and engineering of the new facility only. So this would allow for interior build-out of the new facility and design and engineering and build-out of their existing little buildings that they have to be reused in the future.
Okay.
And all of this has to be done by the end of this year.
And it all still falls under normal ARPA restrictions from originally, right? Yeah.
I think this is great. I support it, and it was just about a year ago that there was a groundbreaking, if I recall, and so it's exciting to see things moving forward and plans shift, and I thank the city for being flexible.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is adopted. Ms. Barber, you may read the next resolution whenever you're ready.
A resolution authorizing the waiver of 1/2 of the water and wastewater capacity benefit charges associated with the Habitat for Humanity Clarence Place Affordable Homeownership Development.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Nellis. Back to Ms. Green.
Good evening again. The Habitat for Humanity project is also funded through ARPA funds from the county. And as part of receiving ARPA funds, you have to do what's called prevailing wage, which is a state set wage. And it was an unanticipated cost for Habitat, as well as all of their many delays, and if you remember what I call the great sewer debacle, some significant infrastructure cost increases. So with that, they have requested a waiver of their capacity benefit charges, and we are recommending a waiver of half of those charges to help them offset their prevailing wage cost increase.
All right. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this resolution before council? All right, seeing none, council questions?
Just be good to get it moving.
Yeah, I agree.
Are they
Ready
sa-
for the groundbreaking.
Are they satisfied with just a waiver of 1/2, and are they going to hold out for more, or is that going to solve their problem?
As any good nonprofit, they would like more, but we feel like this is a good compromise in our staff opinion. And they've already paid half, and so this would be the way to get everything moving along. They have to have paid the first half, and this would be a waiver of that second half.
I think we've seen how hard it is to get low-cost, affordable housing established, so I support moving this forward as well. I agree with Councilor Snavely. It's just good to see it happening.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that resolution is adopted. You may read the next resolution, Ms. Barber.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a parking use agreement with the Talawanda City School District Board of Education as described in Exhibit A related to the Oxford Amtrak Passenger Rail Project.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Nellis. Come back to Ms. Green.
Good evening. As part of the easement negotiation for Talawanda had grave concerns over parking on the west side of the west side of the Nelson Memorial Building. And, you know, we had written kind of a memo that they could use the parking, and they asked for a formal easement. And I want to I'm going to extend a great gratitude to Chris Connard, who came up with this parking agreement model. This is a more formal agreement, but it's not an easement, and so it's kind of a compromise. It does last for 25 years. It can be transferable But the city is okay because it can be transferred to a new property owner with review by the city. So it just kind of allows us a bit of review before we just grant parking to just any use that we are unaware of in the future. But it also filled Talawanda's needs to guarantee their parking that they wanted to see. So what that will be is going to be 2 ADA parking spaces on the west side of Nelson Morrow, 2 regular parking spaces, and those will be signed for Talawanda and Amtrak use. Also, Talawanda will gain access to the 10 new parking spaces that will be constructed as part of the Amtrak development. And so I would recommend approval. And Talawanda did pass this last week at their board meeting, and they passed the easement for Amtrak as well at their last board meeting.
All right. See if there's anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution. Seeing none, council discussion. Just one more step in the Amtrak project, so.
So if we didn't pass this, they'd have no place to park and therefore couldn't use the building? Never mind, that was not a serious comment.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We will move on to ordinances. I think we have one first reading. Ms. Barber, you may read it whenever you're ready.
An ordinance to approve current replacement pages to the Oxford Codified Ordinances.
Mr. Elliott?
Yes, it seems like we just did one of these a few months ago, but anyway, we're doing it quarterly now, and there have been some changes to state law, and we want to change our codified ordinances to follow state law. So I'd be glad to answer any questions you have.
All right, let me see if there is anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance before council. Seeing none, council questions and discussion?
So, to be just clear, these are state laws or laws that are already in existence, and we're updating our code to match it. We're not adopting new laws.
Yes, that's right. I mean, it lists which ones have been amended and which
Yeah.
ones have been added.
Thank you.
So, and we're just following state law with
All
our
right.
codified ordinances.
I'm curious about the possession of certain dogs by convicted felons. Do we know what those certain dogs are? Okay, I'll look it up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, don't bring that with me.
All right, well, we will see this again in our first meeting in June. I believe we have one second reading, so Ms. Barber, you may read that whenever you're ready.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 3844, supplemental budget ordinance number 2, to make supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2026.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Vice Mayor French, second by Councilor Snavely, and I will go to Finance Director Reitauer.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. I have a couple changes from our first reading. So we have added a transfer to make a transfer and increase revenue and expenditure out of the general fund to transfer to the capital improvement fund. And this will be to expense the cost of the senior center solar system, so to put solar panels on the senior center roof. That is at a cost of $160,000. We are using the cannabis excise tax that we've collected to, we had originally had none budgeted, so we were using that money to cover the cost of those solar panels. We also needed to increase the revenue and expense for the purchase of 2 benches and 4 trees along the Oxford Area Trail with a contribution from the Oxford Community Foundation.
Fantastic. All right, is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance before council? All right, seeing none, council questions and discussion?
Just a comment. I believe the contribution from the Oxford Community Foundation is for Kiwanis, who have paid for this, and they are celebrating their 100th anniversary with this gift.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I love the fact that we're using our cannabis money to buy solar panels.
Yes.
All right, if there are no further questions, Ms. Barber, you may call the roll.
Mr. Vinch?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin,
Yes.
Ms. French,
Yes.
Ms. Ornelas,
Yes.
Mr. Snavely,
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Yes. All right. That brings us to announcements and remarks, and I will start with Mr. Elliott.
Thank you. Just to follow up on that appropriation for the senior center. So we published on May 8th the RFP for design build services to install rooftop solar PV system at the senior center. And you just gave a first reading to the appropriation, the supplemental appropriation. And the bid opening will be May 29th, and the city will be applying for the investment tax credits to offset the cost of the project. The system will be approximately 30 kV AC system, and it'll have a payback of approximately 15 years. So once again, this project will be an example of our commitment to carbon neutrality, and of course, it'll be visible from the street. So we're excited about that project. And I also want to share with you that last week we had our third and final Charter Review Commission meeting. And so I'll be bringing in a report, a recommendation to council, and discussing that, and then also at a later date bringing in an ordinance, assuming council's in favor of the recommendations of the Charter Review Commission. Our goal is to get it on the ballot for the November 2026 general election. And that's all I have this evening, unless you have
All right.
questions for me.
Mr. Dreisbach?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Chief Jones? Heidi? Chief? Chad?
Good evening, Mayor, councilors, a couple quick updates. Number one, Memorial Day will be the opening day of the pool, and Mayor Smith will planning to join us for the annual tradition of going down the slide at high noon. Hope the rest of you may come out as well, so we're looking forward to that, and thank you.
I'm
And-
glad it's him, not me.
Can be arranged. Staying in that neck of the woods, we found out recently BCRTA will be running a free bus this summer, started already. It'll be running Mondays through Saturdays to the community park, and the stop is actually in front of the aquatic center. So I was out there today, and there were buses coming and going, and people getting on and off. So
Fantastic.
It's started, and it'll run through August. So looking forward to that.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And then also, I wanted to give you a quick update. The city has now contracted with American Ramp Company to do the concept design for the new skate park, which we'll go out to bid for later this year. So we spoke with the Tri Board about that as well, and they approved for the skate park to go at the Tri, which had been the desire. And this firm is a design build firm that will do a concept design for the park that we will ultimately go out to bid to build. So pretty exciting. Will that have adequate chance for the public to have input on?
Yes.
Exactly. Yes, in fact, the American Ramp Company design concept, invoice that they gave us and contract we negotiated includes a community engagement piece. So they'll likely be in town from St. Louis at their headquarters here in the near future, which we'll advertise and promote. So we'll have some community engagement. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perry?
Just a quick update on the student move out, and thanks to everyone that helped with that with the Sheriff Fest on behalf of the Sheriff Fest Board. I know you usually hear something from Dr. Carol Michael later in the summer, but just a little bit of a preview of that. It was a successful event. City staff helped a little bit more make it happen due to some changes on the Goodwill staffing side of things. There was a lot more furnishings and items that stayed local this year. A bit of matchmaking that happened between the donations and the recipients that were in need, so we're thankful for that, and kept a lot of items out of the landfill. So we'll see how the town looks after the win this evening, but overall, we're glad that many things were preserved and not necessarily sent directly to landfill. Thank you.
That's awesome. Ms. Green?
I just want to echo the thanks of the work that went into Sheriff Fest, and kind of just want to acknowledge Sam's leadership to make Sheriff Fest happen, but also Rena and Heather who helped with Sheriff Fest at the actual site. So thanks to our team. Also just a giant shout out to Rumpke, who's running every day this week trying to keep our town looking nice during a very turbulent move out. Just the unsung heroes of making town look good, so thank you to their service. Our new website is live. We have a few quirks to work out, but a giant thank you to Ashley for helping with that transition. But I mean, I think for a pretty big overhaul, it went pretty smoothly. If you have issues, please email us. Don't tell us, verbally, because I'll forget. Wanted to let you know that we'll be launching our economic activation plan that you guys adopted a few months ago with our mailers for phase 1. Phase 1 is going to be those commercial buildings and those buildings in the mile square that have a property maintenance code or a zoning violation. And we're going to basically be like, so hey, you have this violation, let us help you. We have this amnesty program, we have these other programs to help support you, but let's get moving, let's get this done. And then the second phase will be those areas around town that don't necessarily have a violation, but we believe are poised for activation. And so they'll be invited to come to the table as well. So stay tuned for that. We'll be putting things out in the social media and the website and the newsletter in the coming weeks, but just wanted to give you a verbal heads up. And then finally, the city is seeking volunteers for flag placement at the Oxford Cemetery on this coming Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Oxford Cemetery. And there's a sign up genius on Facebook that people can sign up for, or on the city e-newsletter. But you can also just show up and help place out flags. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Barber,
Nothing, thank you.
anything from our law representation?
Nothing, just other than Mr. Kennard sends his regards from vacation.
I bet he does.
Mr. Snape?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the Miami and Talawanda graduates and hope that they have a good life, and I'm very happy that the town is coming back to us. I would also like to congratulate Paco and everybody involved with the ribbon cutting at the mural on Spring Street. It really looks nice, and I'm looking forward to the second half of it, and I thought it was a very nice event.
Nothing for me.
Okay, as is tradition, I have a bunch. So also congratulations to new Miami graduates. Hopefully those of us in town will enjoy some time without a few thousand extra people in it, though we do enjoy the students. It's nice to be able to park uptown. Thank you to the ShareFest team. Thank you to both Oxford Fire and Police Departments for letting me tag along. I promise this will be the last one for a while, but I would be remiss if I didn't see them in action during arguably the biggest weekend of the year. So for Oxford Fire Department, thank you to Captain Chris Metter for being my guide at the fire department. Thanks to Jim, Dave, David, Cade, Charles, and Patrick for making me feel at home. I did miss 3 calls, but that's pretty standard luck at this point for me. To OPD, thank you to Officer Matt Wagers, Officer Brooke Hartwig, and Sergeant Anthony Jones for letting me tag along. The curse question mark is broken. We were super busy. So I did get to see a really busy shift. And it was really interesting. Almost none of the calls that we went on were directly related to graduation or to students, which is a really good reminder that even though we had tens of thousands of extra people in town, the town still exists. There are calls they need to go on, even though they're doing traffic for Miami graduation ceremonies, dealing with parents who may not be their best selves while looking for parking, the infinite patience that they have to handle cranky parents while also handling just day-to-day city crises and emergencies is really unparalleled and continues to be exceptionally impressive. Speaking of things that police have to deal with, don't vandalize things, especially not things as wholesome as little free libraries. The saying often goes, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I am both mad and disappointed. Don't vandalize, especially not something like that. Human beings build those and put their time into stocking and maintaining them, so it's pretty gutting to see those ripped apart and then have books strewn all over the place. So get it together, don't do that. Speaking of vandalizing, I had a thought that maybe the town gown committee could work together to talk about finding something to do with our Brick Street shoes that aren't throwing them over power lines. Sure, have a tradition, celebrate graduating, but tons of students throw their shoes over telephone wires that we then have to deal with, and they get to go forth and live their lives. So again, don't vandalize stuff. Moving on from that, yes, I will also be at Oxford Memorial Cemetery from 6 to 7:30 on Thursday. It's like a nice time to go walk outside and put some flags out. It's really delightful. So look forward to seeing folks there. Speaking of city services and engineering, thank you to Mike Dreisbach and your team for just an exhaustive amount of work on the water softening project. Hearing it, we know it's just been in the background as a constant kind of drumbeat of the city work, but to really see it all laid out like that is so impressive, and your diligence and dedication is what's getting us this project completed. So thank you, Mike. And then also, Wine and Craft Beer Festival is around the corner, so not Memorial Day, but the weekend after, so we look forward to seeing folks uptown then. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to echo what a wonderful time it was to be at the ribbon cutting, at the mural. Thank you to the art department of Miami and the students who came out, and the staff who've worked tirelessly. Like I said, at the ribbon cutting, there is a relationship between public art and public health. Communities that have more vibrant public art tend to have better health outcomes, not necessarily directly causal, but correlated than communities that don't. I want to put in a plug for art on the skate park at some point. I actually was just Googling concrete skate parks that have murals all over them, and I think that would be fabulous. And then finally, I took a quick trip to Canada to celebrate my dad's 81st birthday with him on Friday. And as I get older and my parents get older, I'm just, time is shorter and family is so precious. And so happy birthday to you, Dad. And I think it's special that this was Building Safety Month, because my dad, when he retired, was one of the directors of building inspection for the city of Toronto, and I couldn't go anywhere with him without him shaking something, jiggling something, elevators, and it's just a fond memory I have of just going everywhere with my father and him never being able to take that engineer's cap off. So thank you to staff for everything that you do to keep us safe in terms of our building and the quality of our buildings. Thank you.
Nothing for me tonight.
Happy birthday. I want to also follow up on the Share Fest. Thanks for the kick in the pants to do some spring cleaning. I took a couple of loads over there and encouraged people to go. And I think that one of the things that was so great were the volunteers. Sorry I missed you, Heather, but I just had a really good time. I took a lot of things, and I was really glad to have the e-waste there this year, which was a large portion of my contribution to ShareFest. And so thank you to all those volunteers who worked in all kinds of weather. It got really hot a couple times, but thank you all.
All right, I don't really have anything tonight other than, hey, I think ShareFest was a big success, and I directed a few people there who were looking rather befuddled with large loads of stuff they didn't know what to do with, so we'll reap the benefits of that. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.
I'm so glad I got rid of these.
I think that timing was actually.
Storm
Yeah.
appears to be over.
Rain.
People took that?
Just rain.
Great.
Did people think it
Well,
worked, or did you trip? Okay, yes. That's what I was gonna ask. Did it eventually get recycled?
Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
Nice.
And an old, it's just like over the years.
So counselors don't lose.
The laptop dies.
Yeah, that's gonna live in the car.
I forgot that was there, because I have stuff to give, but
I
luckily
still
my
have,
stuff is
you probably have it. I have an old one because I had asked for them probably 10 years ago, so we had around 10 years ago. But they should be standard issue.